Cristina Perez Hisano, Verdicts Vogue, and I'm here with a man who does not need an introduction, Mike Alder from AlderLaw. Hi, Mike.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Good.
So we were just chatting up before we started, and Mike and I met through social media.
Yep.
Yeah. How did you saw? Was it in the power of social media? And Mike, I follow him and I learn from him. So tell me, or tell us, how is it that you got so involved in social media? What do you do, and good and bad?
Well, the reason we met was because we were connected to the same people who we follow. And then those connections lead you to other connections, which is what we're doing, here this
Absolutely.
weekend. And social media is it's the best way to have connections with people that you wouldn't ordinarily connect. And then COVID happened, and now you're not out and about as much.
True.
So those potential connections go away. Social media replaces that. It's dynamite.
And I would ask you a perfect trifecta, because when I ran into you yesterday at the conference, we're at TBI MedLegal. When I ran into you at the conference, you actually also had just run into Chrissy, who's another attorney that we had followed, and I had just met her. So now she's in Michigan.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, so she moved to Michigan. But when I first met her, I had only known her through social media.
And that's true. And I've actually, with you, with her and two other people that I feel like I know,
right,
met for the first time in person here this weekend.
That's right. And
cool.
Isn't that, I found it to be surprising that I felt like I already knew you. Well, I also listened to your
because I see you watching all the time. Come on, every day I see.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like a stalking situation. It's become pretty problematic. No.
People actually, and this is interesting, that for people who watch this who are saying, well, you know what, you must have started early with social media. You must have. It's clearly because you are so hilarious and so handsome and so debonair that's why you're successful. And those, I would agree, but it's actually not.
And don't forget the dad jokes.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I've been telling people I'm hilarious all my life. They just figured it out recently. But interestingly, like you asked how I got into social media. So COVID happened. This is March of 2020, shut down.
Everything shut down.
And before that, my entire practice was referral based. It still is, but referral based. And in LA, I was president of the trial lawyers. So I'm speaking at every event. I'm the introducer. So this whole generation of lawyers knew me and know me. Now I'm the next generation, and now there's another generation coming behind them. But there's new people in the leadership. And now I'm not doing the speeches because that's new blood coming in.
Sure. Pass the torch.
How do you reach that new generation, some of whom heard of me, but I'm not in their face? Social media now has become the way for me to get in front of that next generation. But here's what happens. So COVID happens. And locally, I've always helped a lot of newer lawyers. And so I'm always doing that online. And then me and my then fiance, Gina, who's now my wife, she's like, you really should start looking at social media. I knew so little about social media in April of 2020 that I had to Google what a hashtag was. So people are like, well, Mike, you must have been in when it started in the 90s. And Mike, you're like, at that time, 53, you're too old, not this, whatever. And I did not listen to all of that crap. And that's the secret of success, is not talking yourself out of it.
Yeah.
But what happened was there's a million ways to just get into it. And it's about consistency, learning over time. So the woman on Google who answered what a hashtag was a woman in Minnesota who has a class on how to use social media to sell breast milk to other expectant mothers.
Really?
I took her class for $220 at 5 a.m. every morning. And I started to learn what a story was and what a reel was. And then I just every day did what I thought was terrible stuff, not very interesting. And now, fast forward 4 years later, And I'm walking through this convention. And dude, your social media is killing it. Did it? And it's really, you must be. And I'm like, you got no idea.
Well, it happened to you yesterday and it happened to you today. So people regularly recognize you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's all about consistency and about getting out of your own. Everything's about getting out of your own way.
Now you've also, so there's different, I've gotten into social media recently as well. I've also given me some tips along the way of what I should and shouldn't do, which I appreciate. I'm always open to suggestions. But what about those attorneys that are like, well, I don't want to open my life up. I don't want to do this. You've opened your life up completely. So I feel like I know your family. Haven't met Gina yet, even though we've attempted on a couple of occasions, or your kiddos. So,
I had a person yesterday say, dude, how's that baby goat that was just born at your ranch in Louis? I'm like, all right, people do.
They listen. Oh.
You got to make choices, right?
Sure.
You got to decide what you're going to use social media for. And then you got to decide what are your niches, right? So if you think about on a speed date and you're speed dating and somebody says, tell me about you. What is going to be your things about you that you either like or you think are good? So for me,
it's like your elevator pitch.
Right. My elevator, right. Yeah. I am a lawyer's lawyer. I love the law and I like to teach. I'm hilarious. Right?
Okay.
I'm a country boy in a big city and I love country life and I like city, right? I am all about mindset, mental and physical health. And I like helping people. So I'm big in the community. So I'm like, that's my niche. So all of my stuff is in those categories. Okay. But I want to get work from it. So I mix into my legal stuff on my stories are my dad jokes, right? But my dad jokes aren't on my reels that last forever. That's more my legal stuff. And then I have a personal and a firm site. And so then my legal stuff on my firm site is on my stories in my personal and vice versa.
Now, are you handling your social media accounts by yourself or do you have someone who handles that and then you just add on to it?
So now we have a team.
Okay.
Right? Now, but for a couple of years, we didn't. But most of the stuff that is on our reels in Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on TikTok, that has captions and music and whatever, I don't do, our team does. I'll do the video, I'll do all the content, but then we just save it in a shared file. They get it, and it becomes a reel sometime in the future.
And now for an attorney who's starting out and they're like, well, I kind of want to do that. I'm not sure. What's the best piece of advice that you can tell them about getting into the more public eye social media role?
So it's all about frame of mind, right? As you started social media, you're probably first saying, well, I don't have anything to post. I don't know what to post.
You do.
And yet so many things happen to us in a day that you could post about, but you don't think about it because you're not in that social media mindset. And now over the years, I've gotten to where I now think about it. So when a guy came up to me today and said, Mike, thank you for whatever, I'm like, hold on, video, right? If I'm meeting with someone in my office and I'm giving them advice, I'm like, you mind if we do a video? I wouldn't have thought about that a couple of years ago, but it's become habitual. So people think that they don't know what to do. I got 80,000 views of me screaming at Dodger Stadium when we hit the 10th inning grand slam and nothing was said. And I'm just yelling and I'm like, why are people watching this? But the point is that you become more okay with, well, let me just film this. Let me just comment on this. And that consistency over time, if you're in your niche and you're authentic,
sure,
people will start to watch.
And I've started, and I probably within the last, I think, year, I've become more involved in social media, not feeling as self-conscious.
I've seen it.
The growth.
I told you, you've done great.
Thank you. And I do get every once from other attorneys, especially, oh, I've seen you. It's so great. I mean, that wouldn't work for me, but I'm really happy for you. It's like that backhand.
What a gift. What a gift that people get in their way so much. I'm here and people are like, I'm like, come work out with me this morning. Well, I'm on vacation. I don't do that. I'm like, thank the Lord Jesus that 90% of people can't get out of their own goddamn way, can't stop talking themselves out of shit. So many people and I'm not old, I'm just 57. That's not old, but other people in their 50s will never touch social media because they have already decided that they've talked themselves out of it.
Sure.
I'm like, thank you.
And by the way, with the gym, I asked Sophie, I go, hey, do I have enough time to go to the gym? Mike's at the gym. And she goes, no. so she wouldn't let
Blaming.
me. No, I'm blaming. I was trying. She was like, don't go.
There's tomorrow.
Oh, I leave today. My daughter has, Dillard's has a great marketing thing right now. My daughter and I went to Dillard. She's 9. She wanted to pick out her own clothing. And so I said, okay, let's go pick out a couple of outfits. And while we're there, there's like a little sign-up sheet that says a modeling runway show. She was like, oh, what's this? She starts talking to the salesperson. And so she had me change my itinerary because she wants to be in this modeling show. And I said, okay, it's not really, I don't have the heart to tell her. It's not really a modeling show, or it's not like a runway show. It is Dillard's way of saying, hey, parents, your kid can pick out an outfit. And then if you want to, and they can walk the runway in it. And if you want to buy the outfit, it's 20% off. So I haven't told her it's not really a real fashion show, but she's been practicing her walk that I couldn't miss it. I was like, I'm not missing her.
Well, why would you miss it?
No,
you will never remember what we do tomorrow here, but you'll always remember that.
That's absolutely true.
And people talk, me and Gina both get a lot of questions about work-life balance.
Sure.
And I'm like, we don't use that word, right? Because if you look at, I got to go to that, and I'm missing this, then you're always unhappy because you're always missing something. It's just choices. And you got to understand, you're never going to have enough time to do everything in the world. The fear of missing out, if you actually buy into that, you're always missing out on something.
True. That is true.
So get over it and just enjoy so tomorrow, or enjoy the hell out of that. Don't even give this thing up to God.
Yeah.
What a wonderful thing.
I think it's just a good experience, especially getting to see her walk up and down. Like, is this a model walk? Is it? And she's been, cute. She's just like ready for it.
That's so cute.
And I think it's amazing because she's really shy. And so for her to want to do this, and she has it on her calendar. She has like a little board. So I keep a calendar like in my closet. So she now keeps a calendar and marks special things that she has to remember. And so this is on her.
So I'm thinking about that. Okay, let's think about that.
Okay.
You're like, I don't know what to do about social media. And I don't know if this is true, but if you were comfortable with opening that part of your life, maybe you're not, I am with my kid, but how many things out of that could you talk about? You could talk about being with your family and making choices. You could talk about teaching your daughter about practicing and stepping outside her comfort zone, about changing her mindset, about how proud you are of seeing your daughter taking the lessons. All these different things you could talk about.
That's a good point.
Right?
Sure.
2 years ago, 3 years, I'm like, I would not be able to put that together. But it's just like anything. You do anything over and over and over, you get better at it. So now I'm better at coming up with ideas on how to turn stuff in.
Now, but you also do a lot for the younger attorneys still. It's not just through social media. Less experienced attorneys.
They're not younger. That means we're older. And
then we're not old.
We talk about that.
But you do a lot for the less experienced attorneys when it comes to teaching them through your YouTube channel and kind of tips. And they're great. What is that something you've always liked doing? And why did you start doing it? And just
different strokes for different folks. I came from the South to LA, and I remember I would write people thank you notes, and I would offer them help, and they would be like, well, what's the catch? And I'd be like, it was not even there's no catch. I'm just happy to help you. That's just something that certain people grow up with. That is part of it. And that's part of my DNA. So it's never been anything other than let me help unconditionally. Now, it's also good business. It's great karma. It's a good way to live, etc. But I like teaching. I'm an adjunct at law schools in LA. But you also teach, you learn it better.
True.
It's a win-win. And the number of stories of, I can't even tell you. There's a guy here today who is one of my now good friends, who's probably the best referral source in my ever.
Okay.
He goes, I just wanted to tell you, you know how I met you? He said, 10 years ago, I was at the convention in Vegas and all the big dogs, you, Mike, were up there with all the big dogs and you're talking about verdicts and money. And then we end and everybody wants to talk to you. And he goes, nobody would talk to me but you.
Oh.
And I'm like, he's like, you were like kind to me and you gave me time and not even on my radar. I didn't even remember him. 3-4 years later, he calls me and he's like, hey, can I come over with a case? You don't remember me, but you talked to me. I'm like, well, how about I come to your office? I meet him at his office. I meet his wife. I meet his staff. He has referred me 200 cases.
But that's goes being nice, being kind. And unfortunately, I don't know how it is in LA and in Arizona. We need more of that, right? Because everywhere. It's like a scarcity mentality, I think, when it comes to personal injury. It's like all about the numbers. And I'm a strong believer that I am where I am because I've been able to stand on the shoulders of giants and who've helped me along the way 100%. And have given me their time. And so what we did for the women's group, we started a women's group through like Cases and Coffee that gives that support, help, friendship, camaraderie to the women lawyers. Because up until 2 years ago, we didn't have a women's group for trial lawyers. It's amazing. And kind of taking on that motto. I haven't done it for the referral purposes, and I know that you didn't either, but it does come back. And I think karma's
a great or terrible thing.
True.
But you know what? It's like something that, and that is a motto, you give unconditionally, you don't ask for anything back. You'll get back 1,000-fold. That does not mean you're weak. It does not mean that you get taken advantage of. If somebody that I've given to clearly is taking advantage, I'll cut them out, right? But I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I don't sweat it if somebody's using my advice and making millions on a case that they should have sent, not even on my radar. And then I'm going to die. And then they won't remember me and whatever. I'm living my life the way I want to live it. And if somebody gets something that I should have gotten, whatever, good for them.
Yeah. It's a great attitude. Otherwise, if I focus on the negative, because, we have all gotten burned, especially when you're trying to help. If you focus on that negative part, you're giving it a lot more thought and energy when you can be focusing on something positive.
I debate this with people all the time. As an example, we all have gone up to a red light and there's a guy begging for money. Some people go, I'm not going to give him money because he's going to buy drugs or booze, right? There's the condition. I'll only give it to him if he buys food. Other people go, I'm going to give this money 10 times out of 10. Probably a percentage of that, they're going to buy booze and drugs. But sometimes they'll buy food. And I'm willing to give money to everybody so that the people who are going to use it to buy food will get food. And I don't sweat the fact that they're going to. But other people legitimately are like,
sure,
I'm not going to give any money because I don't know what they're going to do with it. To me, that is a more conditional give, which is totally fine for different strokes. But that's just not the way I do it.
Sure.
But if I see this guy the next time and I knew he's going to go buy drugs, I probably won't give him money again.
Okay. That's a good point.
Right.
And this is, I know you mentioned you're a country boy in a city life. What do you think the biggest takeaways from growing up in the country has been for you that has impacted your career?
You probably heard that my parents have gotten smarter every year I've gotten older. Right? So I had, my parents were teachers, and for when I was really young, they were traveling preachers, right? So my dad was a Pentecostal preacher, but like the good kind, like not the evangelical, take advantage, Jimmy Swaggart, Jim Baker type, but like a real caring person.
He spread the word.
And he chilled over time. Like, thank God, because my older sister, came out of the closet a couple of years ago and was terrified for her whole life about my family's religion. And then my dad had chilled, and I really respect him, and he really changed over time. But that basic teachings of helping people and giving unconditionally that we all want religion to be, it was actually, he taught that. So coming out of that, I've realized that I bring that with me. And I didn't, I rebelled against the church. I'm like, don't touch my ass. That preacher's not touching me. But I did learn some of the basic stuff. And whatever religion, if you're good. If you're not, And that's how I govern myself, period. And so coming out of the South, my family didn't have a lot of money. I mean, but we weren't like dirt poor.
Sure.
But I would work. As soon as I was 15, I went to the Wendy's and started working hamburger. I think you could work at 15.
My first job was at Dunkin' Donuts at 15.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Right? Back then, I got minimum wage. Minimum wage back then, you guys are going to freak out. $2.55 an hour.
So when I was waitressing, it was $2.90 an hour, but I also made tips.
Yeah. No, I got $2.55, but for $1, while I'm on our break, I could eat as much food as I wanted. So I'm a 15-year-old kid, and I ate $1,000 worth of Frosties and Wendy's hamburgers in half an hour. I'm like...
So growing up, so I lived in front of Belmont Racetrack, and we were in Elmont, which is borderline Queens back in New York. And my house was right next door to Dunkin' Donuts. So I could just walk there and go to work. And then right down the next block, we had a bodega. There was a Wendy's. So I grew up on Wendy's. Mm-hmm. So what was your favorite Wendy's as a 15-year-old boy? Like your meal?
French fries that went in the Frosty, dynamite. And then I could make my own hamburger. So I would make an 8-patty hamburger. But see that again, good story. Like people are like, Mike, all the time. Mike, why are you such an excellent dancer? Like people ask me that.
Oh, I bet all the time.
I don't know how we transitioned to that, but since you've asked,
I did. Why are you such a fabulous dancer, Mike?
So I'm at Wendy's, and back in the South, I was in the band. I was the trumpet player in my high school band. And then I became the drum major of my high school. Now, back down in the South, the historically black colleges, the best part about the football games were the halftime shows. So the Southern and Grambling and Alcorn State and all, we all wanted to be the band, and those were all dancing bands. And I was the king of the nerds in the mostly white dancing band in my small little town, but I was pretty good. So I became the breakdancing champion of the local whatever. And then when I became drum major, because we're trying to be these bands, I would in an all white, tight spandex outfit with sequins. And then we would start the halftime show by me marching out in the middle of the field by myself, doing a 3-minute dance routine to a dance.
Please tell me some of this is recorded.
Well, I got pictures.
I want to see it.
And from that time until today, if I'm ever at a party where there's a dance floor, I am the opening person to dance on the dance floor. And I will go get someone and start the dance party. And that's how I met Gina.
Really? Look at that.
Yeah. So I was throwing my own, I was the final party sponsor at the Vegas convention 5 years ago. My party. Dance floor. I had to start the dance like I have done since I was in high school.
Okay.
And I asked Gina to do it with me. And that's how we met.
Oh, and the rest is history. Because I also see on your feed that you dance all the time with.
Our whole family is a
I love that.
Machine.
All of them. And the little ones too.
The little ones too?
I know.
You got to teach them young.
I think that's great. So I promised that you would have to tell a dad joke.
Oh,
so
okay.
so we have a dad joke, right? Because yesterday you gave us amazing
I have to tell that you didn't tell me I was going to need to tell a dad joke
this
on
is supposed,
this.
I mean,
right?
this is not planned. This is supposed to be, you know. You can repeat.
You know what Gina and I were going to, with the fire relief stuff, this is not a great dad joke, but I'm going to tell it but we got on with the fire relief. We got a lot of press in LA, and Jennifer Hudson has her show on TV. We went on the Jennifer Hudson show.
Oh, I saw the clip of that.
And so Gina's telling me, Mike, we're going to go on the Jay Hudson show. I'm like, what song am I going to sing? She's like, you better not. I'm like, well, what joke am I going to? She's like, if you tell a joke on the live TV, I'm going to kill you. And I was waiting for Jennifer to say, Mike, how are you dealing with the fires? And I'd be like, oh, I'm not sleeping very well. Every morning I'm waking up grumpy. And then she rolls over and goes back to sleep.
Yeah, I got it.
She's like,
It took me a second.
And now she just like, I can't even deal with you. But our 12-year-old is starting to tell dad jokes.
Really?
It's my proudest moment of my life.
What's the best dad joke that she has said?
I got defensed in a trial.
Okay.
And I've come home from San Diego, having just lost this trial. And they call me, I'm their bonus dad, so they call me Mikey. She goes, Mikey, what do you call the gate here around our driveway? I'm like, what? She goes, the fence. I'm like, I love you.
That's so good. It made you forget for a second that you got
I was so proud of her. I was like, life is good.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, one of them, because I know that you have to get back to, and are you presenting today?
Yeah, this afternoon.
You're presenting at the same time.
I think it's at 3:10.
Okay. Because I know that Sean is presenting at 2. I'm presenting at 2, and I thought they had put us all together.
No, I'm at 3:10 now.
Okay. Well, then I have a shot of somebody coming to my presentation. Because I'm glad that it's not against you.
I'm not talking. I'm just telling jokes and dancing. So I'll see you.
Then I will definitely be there. I want to see this. Are you going to be wearing the white pants with the sequins?
I'll show you the photo of the, like I said, I just went to my high school reunion last weekend and we pulled out the yearbook and I took a bunch of photos in the yearbook.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, it's fun.
So the final part of today, what I've been doing is I've been asking 3 questions to every guest. Mm-hmm. And they're fun questions, life questions. Mm. And so they're not supposed to be hard, but some of them can be a little difficult. So for the first question that I'm going to ask you is, what piece of advice would you give your younger self?
What piece of advice I'd give to my younger self?
Younger self.
Right off the top of my head, stop worrying about comparing yourself to so many people. Comparison is the thief of joy. It is absolutely true. And so the $50 million verdict that somebody else got used to bother me a lot more than it does now.
Okay. It's great advice. Question number 2. If there's one place in the world where you could be right now, I mean, except here, here, of course. But if you could go into any one place, where would that place be?
For how long? Just to be there for a minute?
No. Let's say for 10 days. You could just be there.
Florence, Italy.
Why?
It's just got the best vibe ever. The people are beautiful. The place is beautiful. The food is awesome. And just the vibe is perfect.
So that's actually on my bucket list. I'm trying to get there this summer. I want to go.
Last year, I took Gina, because she'd never been, to Venice, then to Florence, then to Rome on a train ride. And she had never been to any of the 3.
Really? Okay.
Rome is the most famous. Venice is the second famous, and Florence. And I said, Florence is by far my favorite place. One day into being in Florence, she totally agreed. And we've been back now twice.
Really? So that's a place. I've been to Rome. I actually was pickpocketed in Rome, which was an experience. While I was in law school, I did a study abroad program. And then Florence is, we never made it to Florence. So that's where I want to go.
I've got if we have a minute, a side story about Florence that brings everything we're talking about together. We talk about giving. We talk about being kind to people, about reaching out and appreciating people. And another guy who has just retired, he used to refer me a lot of work. I went to Florence for the first time 20 years ago.
Okay.
I had just met this guy, the sole practitioner, the day before I left. And I'm saying, I don't know you, and I'm going to Italy. He goes, oh, Italy. He goes, Michelangelo is my favorite artist of all time. I go to Florence, and in the Duomo is Michelangelo's last sculpture that's half done. He died while he was doing it. And just as I bought a postcard, and I sent him the postcard and said, hey, dude, just great to meet you. Just thinking about you, Michelangelo. He taped that on his computer screen for 20 years.
Wow.
And he became one of my best friends. And that took me 45 seconds, right? But it made all the difference. And as we talked about, writing personal notes, thanking people legitimately, helping people. People love these little gizmos, right? They hold up your phone, whenever people go, oh, that's cool. I'm like, really? Here you go.
That's so nice.
Now, they don't know that I bought...
Can I see that one?
500 of those. But it means everything that I've given that to you, right?
You know that just like we talked about, you may borrow this idea. I'm going to borrow this idea. I love it. I love it. And it's not,
So see?
I think it's perfect.
But again, people are like, well, it's cheesy. People don't think you're really this makes a difference. And if you talk yourself out of doing so, well, he's not going to care. Maybe the postcard's never going to get to him. Well, he won't remember. Get over yourself and just be kind to people over and over again. It is good life. It's good business. It's good karma.
It's just, it also shows that you're just being human.
Yeah.
And it's like that personal touch.
And do we need that right now?
We do. And people find it amazing. So we're a newer business. I had a partner beforehand, but on my own, it's been 5 years that I've been open. People are shocked at the fact of how little our advertising budget is, right? And the way that I got my start was thanking people when they referred someone, and then like a little gift card. And it was 25, 50, 100, depending on what the case was. Right. And then, but at that point, that's all I had, and that's all I could do. And we were just kind of starting it up. And there's attorneys, clients, they didn't expect it. And they also didn't expect it being handwritten. And it makes such a difference. I can't tell you how often clients just refer people just because they're like, well, you helped me 10 years ago. You helped me 5 years ago. And I've kept doing the same thing.
The amount of stories and stuff that's happened over the years from little acts of kindness that 10 years later pay off.
True.
There's just no downside to it.
Sure. Yeah. Last question, right? Last question.
Get out of here.
No, I remember. So we have the last question is, what is your proudest professional moment and then your proudest personal moment?
Oh, you said these were easy.
I said they're supposed to be easy, but they can be hard.
Personal. When I met Gina and we got married and it was at night. No, actually, I will tell you my personal moment is just kind of a conglomeration of going through a really horrible divorce, alienated from my older kids, drinking too much, eating too much, hitting rock bottom, acknowledging that, but making a sea change difference in my life, building back. And that's how I've learned about mindset and health and mental health and focus. And I was always nice to people and I was always a good lawyer, but my personal life And people are like, why would you talk about how bad that was? I'm like, because I can see when somebody's been through the wars of life and come out on the other side, because you just think different. So my proudest personal moment is actually pulling myself back out of a hole and building to a family unit, business, and life that I love.
Well, that's a beautiful moment. Thank you.
Well,
yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Well, the only reason I would share it is because I'm not afraid of it and I'm not ashamed of it and I can't change it. And I have a choice to either own it and make it good, or own it or not own it and make it bad.
Yeah.
And then I die and then nobody remembers us. Get over yourself.
You have to be
professional. Oh, shoot.
And then you're off the hook.
My proudest professional moment?
Yes. You get one.
I don't know. I mean, people would say, well, shouldn't it be like when you won this award? But when I won Trial Lawyer of the Year, that you can only win one time, I was kind of too inexperienced to really understand it. I don't have a proudest personal moment. I mean, the verdicts are great. You know what? This is probably the best one. When I was just really starting to make a name, I got my first multi-million-dollar verdict. And a woman who was semi-homeless, living in it's kind of a slum, fire happening, she got burned pretty badly. And I took over the case to try it. And she was a really sweet woman, but schizophrenic, etc., crazy. And I'm putting her off the stand, trying to not get her on the stand. And she's my last witness. And I'm about to put her on the stand. And she tells me, she's like totally a sweet woman. She goes, if you put me on the stand, I'm going to tell them that you made all this up. And it's all. So I bluffed the defense lawyer. And I said, you know what? This poor lady's been through too much. I'm not going to call her. And he didn't call her. We got a multi-million-dollar verdict and got it paid. And this poor woman who would come every day in like black with like dandruff we put the money in a trust. I was able to get a professional trustee. She got mental health help. They moved her into an apartment and she wrote me a Christmas card for like 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Right? How wonderful.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you realize that you can make real differences. And this woman just needed somebody to help her, right? And to set up that kind of support system. So when I see mill firms like making people into widgets, drives me nuts, because you got real people who have needs in probably the most vulnerable part of their lives. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we're supposed to do. So that was a good one.
That was a very good one.
Yeah.
And you've made an impact on our life. So, well, I want to say thank you for being here.
Sure.
Thank you for watching. And I look forward to sitting down with you and Gina eventually, taking out to dinner.
I told her that we were doing this. She's going to say hello. And
tell her I say hello. And I look forward to actually meeting her in person. So,
thanks very much.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone.